Hey worship team members, I want to give you a short tutorial on how to set up and use your Allen & Heath ME-1 personal in-ear monitor mixer. And so I want to just walk you through this. I'll show you all the steps. I know sometimes it can be challenging to remember all the steps when you don't play every week. And most weeks we try to get this done for you, but sometimes it doesn't happen, or sometimes we forget to add one as we go from station to station. So here's what you have on your mixer. So over here is your master level. You want to make sure that you keep your master level around 50% when you begin to set this up. Obviously you can turn up the overall level of everything, but the more you go up, the more distortion you have. But if you keep it too low and then you start turning up all the individual channels, then you'll end up with a lot of distortion and clipping. So start out with this at 50% before you do anything else. This is a local mic, which is actually a microphone that's right here. And so anytime that this is turned up, this microphone becomes active and it pumps through your ears. So if you're hearing a lot of stage noise, if you're hearing a lot of chaos, sometimes the drums become extremely loud in your ears with this local mic on. It's best, I think, to actually keep this shut off. And I'll explain a little bit more about that as we go through. So to set up each button, you can customize it to different people or different instruments. So to do that, you're going to push the shift and the group button at the same time. So you're going to click those, and you'll see on your screen you have some different options. You're going to take this little knob right here, it turns, and you'll turn it down to key setup, and you'll click down on that knob. The screen then says press a key, and you'll be able to press a key, and you'll see all of the information stored onto that channel. So you'll see some of them say unassigned, some of them will say a group, etc., and so on. So in this case, Ryan is set as the first singer on button number 1. If we wanted to change that to somebody else, we're going to click down while it says source, which is going to bring up a list of all of the channels on the board. So you're going to be able to go through and find which one you want. As you go through these, as you see right here, you have one that says SVR. Anything, and you'll see a whole bunch of these that have S in front of them. So S room, S acoustic 2, versus acoustic 2. So anytime you see an S in front of it, do not use that channel, because that channel is set aside for streaming. So that's a clone of another channel, and it's not what you want in your in-ear mix. So if you see anything pop up with an S, you definitely want to go change that to the correct channel. So we're going to go ahead and leave this one as Ryan, and we're going to select that, and we just click down on it again. And you can go through and you can push the next button to see. So the next one was Hannah, then there's Abby. There's nothing assigned to this channel, so let's say we wanted to make that our keyboard. So then we would go ahead, and I'll just do that one more time so you can see that. So as we're clicking through these buttons, we get to this one, and we want our keyboard to be number 4. So I'm looking at source. I'm going to click that button. I'm going to scroll through my list of channels until I find the keyboard. I'm going to click to select it. Now it's stored as that setup. So we can continue to go on down to whatever you would want that to be. So now this is what I did here, is now I've accidentally added 2 keyboard channels. So what am I going to do with that? Well, I'm going to go ahead and just go back to source. I'm going to click that button again, and I'm going to scroll all the way to the top to where it says unassigned right here, and I'm going to unassign that channel. That way I don't have to have 2 separate keyboard channels going on. So once you're done getting your channels where you want them, you're just going to hit the master button, and it's going to go back out, hit it again, go back out, hit it again until it says me. From here, then you can click on your individual channels, and you can turn them up or turn them down. You can set them how you want them, and so on and so forth. Now with these channels, you have a couple of options. So as you see, this button right here says level or pan. You can see your pan settings right here. If you click that down and hold it and then turn it, you can change where your sound is coming out of your headphones. So if I want to hear my acoustic in my left ear, and then I want to hear Ryan all the way in my right ear, I can do that. So these are things that from week to week, can get left over from other teams, so you definitely want to spend a few moments just checking on these to see where they're at. Now there's one little tricky thing to this setup, and that is the drums. Now you'll notice as you click through all these channels, no other lights light up. It's just that channel until you get to the drums. And when you hit the drums, the group light also comes on. And the reason it does that is because we've grouped the drums into a group. So instead of having kick drum, snare drum, cymbals, hi-hat, whatever else, we've just put them all into one group. Now the problem we've had with this is that it works differently than all the other channels. So when you start turning up the drum channel, you might not actually get any sound out of your drums, because what you have to do to turn up your drum channels is actually hit the group button, and then you can actually see what's in the group. And then just like the panning, you have to click down on it and then start to turn up which part of the drums you want where you want it. So this is kind of like a mini mix inside of a button. So you continue to click on these, each one, set them where you want them. So if you don't want any of the rack, any of the floor toms, you just want to have the kick drum to set the beat, you can keep it that way. So you can go through and customize your drum setup however you want it. And once you set those up how you want them, you can hit the group button again, and then your overall volume of your drums will come through really, really clearly. Now I have a couple of requests for you each on these, and that is number 16 on all of our mixers is set to be the talkback microphone. Please, please, please keep this fairly loud so that if we need to communicate something to you from the sound booth, like don't forget to turn your guitar on, change where your capo is, tune something, change something, we can communicate that to you without having to wave our arms and dance around. So I want to make sure that you are up to speed on that one. So always keep the talkback mic ready to go. Greg's mic is just the speaking mic. The blue is the handheld mic that I typically use when I'm leading something through the service. And the red mic is also the other handheld. So as you go through those, that's kind of how that works. Now, when I told you about the local mic earlier, you have a mic on here that can give you some crowd noise, but it can also have all the stage bleed through. We've programmed in a microphone in the room to be a room mic. So it's actually a high condenser mic that picks up the crowd and it picks up people. So if you want to hear more of the house sound, if you want to hear more of what's going on in the church body, you can take that room channel and you can just keep turning it up, and it'll give you your best quality mix sound for what's going on actually in the room, so it won't feel like you're so stuck inside a pair of headphones. So this is kind of the gold channel. So always make sure that that's where you want it. So you can hear it, and so you're not frustrated feeling like you can't hear what's going on in the house. And I promise you it will sound much better than this local mic. Local mic can actually pick up all of the noise that's on stage and overshadow everything that's going on in the mix that you've spent all this time working on. So the best way to get the house sound that you're looking for is to use the room mic. We keep that up pretty good, so that's how you do it. Now, a couple other just fun things to go with this. In this button right here called Master, if you hit that when nothing else is selected, or even if you have a like 1, 2, 3, 4 channel, something like that, and you hit the Master button, it actually brings up for you an individual EQ setting. So just like you would do with your drums, you click down on the level pan button, and then you can turn up the low and get a little more bass in your headphones. Or you can, if it's feeling too muddy, you can turn the bass down. If it's feeling like you can't hear the vocals too well, you can go ahead and give it a little mid boost. If you feel like it's still too muddy and you need a little more treble, you can bring up the treble, and then you can go back and bring down the mids a little bit. So you can play around with those EQs, and I would encourage you each week to check that EQ, because somebody that played on this system the week before might have done something that they really liked with their ears that you don't like. So those are the basic steps that you need to have. You always want to make sure too that you're plugged in on the right-hand side over here, not on the left-hand side. So the left-hand side is for something like if you wanted to plug a phone in or something else that you could add to this. The headphone jack is actually over here. If you have a fatter headphone jack, you can plug into one of these. This I have actually set up to go to wireless in-ears, which is a whole nother system that someday in the future I hope to go to. So anyway, so this is how you use that in-ear monitor. I hope this is helpful. Save this video so that you can refer to it anytime that you need to make a change, or if you feel like you come in and you want to adjust some things and put things in different spots to your liking. So that's how you do it. Thanks, guys.